Tonight, I bring you a tale that will haunt your dreams and question everything you believe about love. This is the story of Catherine Morrison, a woman who thought she knew the boundaries between desire and destruction, until she met someone who existed in the spaces between worlds. Listen carefully to the voices that will guide you through this nightmare, for in every whisper lies a truth too terrible to ignore.
My name is Catherine Morrison. I'm 40 years old, and until 3 months ago, I believed my life was predictable, safe, and utterly ordinary. I lived in a 2-story colonial house in Millbrook with my husband Charlie for 18 years. Our marriage had become like old wallpaper, familiar, faded, and desperately in need of replacement. Charlie worked late every night at his accounting firm. I taught high school English, came home to an empty house, and spent my evenings grading papers while he watched television in silence. We barely spoke anymore, existing as polite strangers sharing the same address. But that night, that cursed October night when the rain began, everything changed. Catherine had no way of knowing that some hunger, once awakened, can never be satisfied by mortal means. The rain that began that evening would continue for weeks, as if the very sky were weeping for what was about to unfold. Catherine. I was walking home from the faculty meeting, my umbrella useless against the driving rain. The streetlights flickered like dying candles, casting twisted shadows that seemed to move independently of their sources. That's when I first saw him. He stood beneath the old oak tree at the corner of Elm and Main, the one where they say a woman hanged herself in 1892. He was tall, impossibly tall, with dark hair that remained perfectly dry despite the downpour. His clothes were expensive but seemed to belong to another era, a long black coat, tailored suit, and shoes that gleamed like obsidian. But it was his eyes that stopped me cold. They were the color of storm clouds, and when they met mine across that rain-soaked street, I felt something inside me break open like a dam.
Catherine, you've been waiting for me, haven't you? In those quiet moments between sleep and waking, in the spaces between your husband's snores, in the pause between one heartbeat and the next, you've been calling me.
Hey, I don't know you. How do you know my name?
Names are just shadows of our true selves. I know the hunger in your heart, the loneliness that eats at you like acid, the dreams you've buried beneath years of dutiful silence. I know because I've been watching you, waiting for you to be ready. I am what you've been missing, Catherine. I am the answer to questions you were too afraid to ask.
This is insane. I'm a married woman. I have responsibilities, a reputation to maintain. I should go home.
Should? Such a small word that has made your life so very small. Tell me, when was the last time you felt truly alive? When did you last feel desired, wanted, needed as more than just a convenience?
I can't remember.
Then come with me tonight, just for an hour. Let me show you what you've forgotten about yourself. Catherine should have run. Every instinct screamed at her to flee back to the safety of her ordinary life. But desire is a drug more potent than any substance known to man, and she had been sober for far too long.
I followed him through the empty streets, my rational mind screaming warnings I refused to hear. We walked for what felt like hours, though the clocks we passed all showed different times, as if time itself bent around his presence. He led me to a house I'd never seen before, though I'd lived in this town my entire life. It was Victorian Gothic, with towers that pierced the sky like dark prayers. The windows glowed with a warm, amber light that seemed to pulse with its own heartbeat.
Welcome to my home, Catherine. Here, the rules of your world hold no power. Here, you can be who you were meant to be.
The moment I crossed the threshold, I felt myself changing. The years of repression, of denied desires, of suffocated dreams, they all began to melt away like ice and flame. The house was impossibly beautiful, filled with antiques that seemed to whisper stories of passion and tragedy. He poured wine that tasted like liquid starlight and spoke to me about poetry, philosophy, the secret hungers that drive the human soul. Every word was like a key unlocking doors I'd sealed shut years ago.
You're beautiful, Catherine. Not the kind of beauty that fades with time, but the eternal beauty of a soul that refuses to be caged. Your husband sees you as a function, cook, cleaner, companion. I see you as you truly are.
And what am I?
You are a goddess who has forgotten her divinity. You are a queen who has been living as a servant. You are a fire that has been pretending to be ash. But even as Catherine surrendered to the intoxication of being truly seen, truly desired, the shadows in the corners of the room began to writhe with malevolent life. For some hunger, once fed, grows stronger, and some desires lead not to fulfillment, but to damnation.
When he kissed me, the world exploded into a sensation I'd never known existed. Every nerve ending caught fire. Every breath became a prayer to gods I'd never worshipped. In that moment, I understood why people went to war for love, why they killed for passion, why they threw away everything for a single perfect moment of connection. I stayed until dawn, and when I finally returned home, Charlie was already gone to work. I looked at myself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman staring back. My eyes held secrets, my lips curved with knowledge I couldn't name. I was transformed.
And so began Catherine's descent into a love affair that would challenge everything she thought she knew about reality, desire, and the price one pays for perfect passion. Night after night, she returned to that impossible house, each visit pulling her deeper into a web of seduction that was as beautiful as it was deadly. But some secrets refused to stay hidden, and some husbands are not as oblivious as they appear to be.
My name is Charlie Morrison, and I'm watching my wife disappear before my eyes. At first, I thought she was having a midlife crisis. New clothes, mysterious smiles, staying out late with vague explanations about faculty meetings and book clubs. I've been married to Catherine for 18 years. I know when she's lying, but this was different. She wasn't just lying. She was becoming someone else entirely. Her skin glowed with an inner light I'd never seen. Her eyes held depths that seemed to go on forever. Even her voice had changed, becoming richer, more musical. And every night, she came home smelling like flowers that don't exist and speaking in whispers about dreams she couldn't remember.
The weeks blurred together like watercolors in rain. Every evening, I found myself drawn to that house on the hill, to him. Marcus, that's the name he gave me, though I suspected it wasn't his real one. Nothing about him was real in the way I understood reality. He showed me rooms that couldn't exist within the physical dimensions of the house. Libraries filled with books written in languages that predated human civilization. Gardens where flowers bloomed in impossible colors under starless skies. Ballrooms where we danced to music played by invisible orchestras.
Tell me about your husband, Catherine. This Charlie who shares your bed, but not your dreams.
He's a good man. Reliable. We were happy once, I think. When we were young and still believed in fairy tales.
Safe. How that word must taste like ash in your mouth now. Safety is the prison we build to keep out the magic, the passion, the very essence of what makes life worth living. You could leave him, you know. Come away with me to places where time has no meaning, where love is the only law, where you could be worshipped as you deserve.
I have a life and a lot of responsibilities. I can't just disappear.
What is that life but a series of meaningless routines? What are those responsibilities but chains you've forged for yourself? Here with me, you are infinite. There with him, you are dying by degrees. But passion, like fire, consumes everything it touches. And Marcus was beginning to show Catherine just how hungry his love could be.
Started with small things. I would leave his house at dawn, but when I checked my watch, entire days had passed. I missed classes, appointments, dinners with Charlie. Time moved differently in Marcus's world, and I was losing my anchor to my own. Then there were the marks. Not bruises, nothing so mundane. These were symbols that appeared on my skin like tattoos, written in a script that hurt to look at directly. They would fade by morning, but I could feel them burning beneath my flesh like brands.
You're changing, my darling, becoming what you were always meant to be. Soon, you won't need that other world at all. Soon, you'll exist only here, with me, in perfect eternal bliss.
What do you mean? Marcus, what's happening to me?
Love, my dear Catherine. Pure, undiluted, transformative love. The kind that burns away everything unnecessary until only the essential remains. But Charlie Morrison was not the passive, oblivious husband Marcus had taken him for. He had been watching, investigating, and what he discovered would shake him to his very core.
I hired a private investigator. I know how that sounds. Checking up on your own wife like she's some cheating spouse in a bad movie. But Catherine was disappearing literally. Some nights she would leave the house and not return for days, though she insisted she'd only been gone a few hours. The investigator, a woman named Sarah Chun, found something impossible. The house Catherine had been visiting. I followed her there myself one night. It doesn't exist. Not on any city record. Not on any map. Not in any database. The lot where it stands has been empty for over a century.
Mr. Morrison, in 20 years of private investigation, I've never encountered anything like this. Your wife enters that empty lot every night at exactly 9:47 p.m. and doesn't emerge until dawn. But, sir, there's nothing there. Just weeds, broken concrete, and a foundation from a house that burned down in 1923. The really disturbing part? I set up cameras. When I review the footage, your wife just vanishes. She walks into the lot and disappears from view, as if she's entering a building that doesn't exist.
That's impossible. Buildings they can't just.
Mr. Morrison, I'm recommending you contact someone with expertise in unusual phenomena. This is beyond anything I can help you with. But, sir, whatever's happening to your wife, she's in danger. Real danger.
Meanwhile, Catherine was discovering that paradise often comes with a price that compounds daily, and some debts can only be paid in ways that destroy the soul.
I began to notice things. Terrible things. The food Marcus served never satisfied my hunger. In fact, I was always starving after our meals, though they tasted like ambrosia. The wine left me perpetually thirsty. The passionate nights left me feeling more empty with each passing day. And the other residents of the house. At first, I thought I was alone with Marcus, but gradually I began to see them in my peripheral vision, women in various stages of fading. Some were translucent, others mere shadows, all of them reaching toward me with desperate, pleading eyes.
They were like you once, Catherine. Hungry, unfulfilled, seeking something more than their mundane existences could provide. I gave them everything they desired: eternal passion, endless pleasure, perfect love.
What happened to them?
They got what they wanted. What you want. They became part of something greater than themselves. They found immortality in my love.
They're not immortal. They're trapped. You're feeding on them. Me.
I'm sustaining you, my dear. Without me, you would return to that gray half-life of quiet desperation. With me, you burn brightly, perhaps briefly, but oh so beautifully. Did you think perfect love came without sacrifice? Did you believe passion could exist without consumption? You wanted to feel alive, Catherine. I'm simply showing you what that truly means. As Marcus revealed his true nature, Catherine found herself caught between two worlds, unable to fully exist in either. Her marriage lay in ruins, her body was failing, and her soul was being slowly devoured by a love that promised everything and delivered only beautiful damnation. But sometimes, the most ordinary love is the most extraordinary force in the universe. And Charlie Morrison was about to prove that a husband's devotion could challenge even supernatural darkness.
I found the research in our local library's restricted archives. The house, the mysterious fires, the women who disappeared. It had been happening for over 2 centuries, always following the same pattern. A house would appear seemingly from nowhere. A seductive stranger would lure unhappy wives away from their families. The women would disappear completely, leaving behind only empty lots and grieving families. But there was one case, just one, where a woman had been saved. In 1847, a blacksmith named Thomas Hartwell had confronted the entity and rescued his wife using something the old records called the light of true love. The account was vague, mystical, but it was the only hope I had. I was going to get my wife back, even if it killed me.
On the night when the veil between worlds grows thin, when love and horror dance their eternal dance, Charlie Morrison prepares to enter a realm where reality bends to the will of ancient hunger. Armed with nothing but his devotion and a faith he didn't fully understand, he was about to discover that true love is not a feeling. It is a force of nature.
I was dying, not the quick death of violence or accident, but the slow dissolution of essence. Each night I spent with Marcus, I became less solid, less real. I could see through my own hands, feel my memories slipping away like water through broken fingers. The other women tried to warn me, their voices like wind through dead leaves. They told me of husbands, children, lives they'd abandoned for the promise of eternal passion. Now they existed as fragments, echoes of their former selves, sustained only by Marcus's terrible love.
Soon, my darling Catherine, you'll join them completely. No more divided loyalties, no more longing for that gray world of mediocrity. You'll be mine entirely, forever, burning in the perfect flame of our love.
I want to go home. Please, Marcus. I want to see Charlie. I want to remember who I was before.
Before. There was no before that mattered. That woman who graded papers and made small talk about weather. She was already dead. I simply offered her a more beautiful grave. You belong to me now, Catherine. Your soul bears my mark. There is no returning from what you've become. But as Catherine felt herself slipping away into an eternity of beautiful servitude, Charlie Morrison stood at the edge of that impossible lot, holding a single candle and calling upon every ounce of love he'd ever felt for his wife.
Catherine, I know you can hear me. I've come to take you home. I don't care what you've done, where you've been, or what you think you've become. You're my wife, and I'm not leaving without you.
Foolish mortal. She chose me over you. She came to me willingly, eagerly. What can you possibly offer her that I have not already given?
I can offer her forgiveness. I can offer her a life where she doesn't have to be perfect to be loved. I can offer her the chance to grow old, to make mistakes, to be human. I offer 18 years of shared memories, inside jokes, quiet Sunday mornings, and the promise of 18 more years of ordinary, imperfect, real love.
Charlie, is that really you?
I'm here, Kat. I'm here, and I'm not going anywhere without you.
She doesn't want your pathetic love. She chose passion over your boring domesticity. She chose fire over your cold ashes.
No, she chose escape. She chose to feel wanted, desired, important. And I failed her in that. I let routine kill romance, let familiarity breed contempt. But I never stopped loving her. I just forgot how to show it. Catherine Morrison, you are the most beautiful, intelligent, passionate woman I have ever known. You make me laugh with your terrible puns. You cry at dog videos. You leave coffee rings on every table and lose your reading glasses when they're on your head. You are perfectly, wonderfully, beautifully human. And I love you not despite your flaws, but because of them, because they're yours.
Charlie, I am seeing the light. Your light. It's so warm, so real.
No, you can't leave me. Without you, without all of you, I fade back into nothing. I need your love, your life force, your essence.
That's not love, Marcus. That's hunger wearing love's mask. Love doesn't consume, it nourishes. Doesn't trap, it frees. Charlie loved me enough to let me make my own mistakes. You love me only enough to make me yours.
As Catherine chose love over obsession, reality over fantasy, the imperfect beauty of human connection over the terrible perfection of supernatural passion, the house began to crumble around her.
I remember now. I remember Sunday morning crosswords and birthday cakes that didn't rise properly. I remember fights about money and making up in the dark. I remember real love, complicated, challenging, sometimes boring, but always, always real.
Catherine, please, without you, I am nothing. I am an empty shadow, endless hunger with no hope of fulfillment.
Then find another way to exist. Find a way that doesn't require devouring others' lives. But I can't be your salvation, Marcus. Can only be my own.
Catherine, oh God, Catherine, you're so cold. I've got you. I've got you now.
Charlie, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for everything I've done, everything I've risked.
Hey, we'll talk about it later. Right now, let's just get you home.
As dawn broke over Millbrook, Charlie carried his wife away from that empty lot where nothing remained but weeds and broken concrete. The supernatural house was gone, taking with it the promise of perfect passion and the threat of beautiful destruction. But some wounds, even when healed, leave scars that never fully fade. 6 months have passed since that terrible night when love battled hunger and humanity triumphed over the supernatural. But victory often comes with a price that both saves and destroys.
Charlie and I went to counseling. We talked about the affair, though explaining that I had been seduced by a supernatural entity required some creative interpretation. Dr. Williams thought I had suffered a psychological break, and perhaps I had. Charlie forgave me, but forgiveness isn't forgetting. There are nights when I catch him watching me with questions in his eyes. There are mornings when I see him checking to make sure I'm still there, still real, still his.
I saved her life, but I couldn't save our marriage. Not completely. Catherine came back to me, but part of her remained forever changed by what she experienced. There's a distance in her eyes sometimes, a longing for something I can never provide. We're different people now. The crisis showed us things about ourselves we weren't prepared to see. I learned that I had been a passive partner, taking her for granted. She learned that she was capable of betrayal that nearly destroyed everything we built.
We're still married. We still love each other. But it's a different kind of love now, more conscious, more intentional, built on the ruins of what we used to take for granted. Some days it feels stronger than ever. Other days it feels fragile as spun glass. I dream of him sometimes. Marcus. In my dreams. He's not a monster but simply a very lonely entity who confused possession with love. I wake up feeling sorry for him, which probably makes me a fool.
The investigators found something interesting in the city records after that night. 7 other women had gone missing over the past century, all from that same location. After Catherine's experience, the disappearances stopped. Whatever that thing was, it seems to be gone now. I like to think we didn't just save Catherine. We saved all the women who might have been tempted by that beautiful lie in the future.
I learned something about love that night. True love isn't about perfection or passion or being swept away by forces beyond your control. True love is choosing to stay when staying is hard. It's forgiving when forgiveness seems impossible. It's seeing someone's flaws and loving them anyway. Marcus offered me a love that would consume me completely, make me into something I wasn't. Charlie offered me a love that lets me be human, messy, complicated, imperfect human.
And so our story ends not with perfect redemption, but with the complex reality of human relationships. Catherine and Charlie Morrison remain together, their marriage scarred but not shattered, their love tested but not destroyed. They've learned that some temptations are too dangerous to resist without help. They've discovered that ordinary love, with all its flaws and complications, is perhaps the most extraordinary force in the universe.
We are not the same people we were before that October night when the rain began. We are not perfect, not fully healed, not completely forgiven or forgiving. But we are real. We are human. We are together. And sometimes that is enough.
Let this tale be a warning to those who hunger for perfect love, perfect passion, perfect escape from the mundane trials of human existence. Be careful what you wish for in the dark spaces between one heartbeat and the next, for some hunger, once fed, can never be satisfied, and some loves are too beautiful, too perfect, too consuming to survive. But perhaps the most frightening truth of all is this: we are all capable of abandoning everything we hold dear for the promise of feeling truly alive. The question is not whether we will be tempted, but whether we will find our way back to the imperfect, complicated, beautifully human love that waits patiently for our return. Sleep well, dear listeners. And remember, the most dangerous monsters are often the ones that offer us exactly what we think we want.